Good evening, guys. Hey, we are live outside of our home here in Cleveland, and we thought it'd be something different just to be outside. It's beautiful outside. It's a nice night. If you haven't been outside, go check it out. It's great. But tonight, we want to talk a little bit about timing. Bear with us here on this topic. We'd like to stay 30 minutes. We really would. But this topic we found out talking about this week that is going to, we found out that it may last a little bit longer than 30 minutes, but bear with us. We're not meaning to, but it just might happen. So it's going to be good stuff, good content, but just talk about how important timing is and how if we kind of get out of the way, and because some things happen because they happen, but some things happen because God has perfect time for things to happen, and we don't know why it's that way, but it works out perfectly in God's timing if we let it happen that way. So, sorry, I don't want to get rambling about it right now, but
excuse me.
I know you got a lot of good stuff.
Well, I just have lots of different stories along the way. So first, part of the reason that what prompted this subject matter was because we have a little bit of a celebration that we're excited about. I'm going to move this candle because I think our camera keeps focusing on the candle and going crazy, so we'll put that down there. So, you know, it's Texas, y'all. There's bugs out here, so we have a candle to keep the bugs away. So, but anyway, the topic came up because we have a little bit of a celebration. We're excited about a change in our lives and Grant's schedule, and so we're excited about that. But before I get into that, I just want to talk about how this particular area of our lives has been a God timing thing from I don't even know how long ago. And so let's just talk about Grant and his jobs over the years and how God's timing has been perfect for what we needed at that time, in that season, in that moment, whatever you want to use to describe that. So we just want to talk about that. So whenever those of you that have known us for a lot of years, when Jazz was born, we had a plan. We had a family member that was going to watch her. It was great. We were both working full time. And I want to say the Friday or the Monday, I don't remember, regardless, like the week before I was slotted to go back to work, this family member got diagnosed with breast cancer and was going to have to undergo chemo and not be able to be around littles. And so they were not able to watch Jasmine. And I get some people put their kids in daycare. I was not willing to do that. And so we got it worked out where we had part-time childcare worked out for Jazz. And so I went to work part-time. Now, the only way that we could still eat and pay our bills, Grant was working oil field at the time. And so his income was, higher. And so that allowed us to not have the worry of taking care of our child and making sure she was taken care of, but also making sure our bills were paid. And then fast forward a whole lot of years later, I'm getting ready to student teach. And so obviously I'm going to have to be at the school early and then stay late for, morning duty, afternoon duty, all that stuff. And our kids were both in school. And Grant had hi, we're still here, we promise. Sorry, technical difficulties. That's what you get for trying to adjust things right before. That's totally my fault. So anyway, sorry, the world is not falling apart. But anyway, so Grant had gotten a job that was flexible with his hours and with his schedule, so he was actually able to drop the kiddos off at school and pick them up, which was a huge blessing in that semester that I was student teaching. And then fast forward to us moving to Texas. So if any of y'all know me, you know that I'm the one who worries about everything. I'm the banker of our house. I'm the one who plans everything. Again, y'all, we told you we were outside. Apparently there's a plane flying over.
Never hear a plane outside of our house ever. First time for everything. Thank you, plane.
I told Grant, I said, I don't mind doing it on the porch, but we're probably going to have some background noise. So
unbelievable.
It's all good in the hood. So anyway, literally. But anyway, we moved to Texas, and like I said, I'm the one who worries about, are our bills going to be paid? Is this going to happen? Are we going to have enough money to eat, and pay the electricity? That's me. That's what I do. So we get down here, and Grant goes for an interview at a company in the next town over, and the money was good, but the schedule was awful. And he came home and he said, Tina, I just don't feel like, I just felt very checked in my spirit. I'm not supposed to take that job. He said, we just moved down here with 2 teenagers, and I would miss everything in the evenings and never see you or the kids. And I just don't feel like that would be healthy for our family. Now, thankfully, I've been walking with this man and with God long enough to know that if this man says, hey, God just told me this was not for me, that even though if it doesn't make sense to me, I've learned to listen, because I know that this man hears from God, and he's not going to lead our family astray in those things.
And don't get me wrong, though, when she's saying all this, let's bring this together. This job, money-wise, would have been good for my family.
Mm-hmm.
The money would have been great. What we needed at the moment, the money would have been there, right? So I don't want to discount that this job would have helped us, okay? But I'm different than her. Money doesn't drive me. Yes, I like it. I like to spend it. I get all that. But I don't care. I mean, money's just money to me. And my family's 110,000 times more important than money is.
But we still had to eat. Still had to pay our rent. So I was very nervous.
So yeah, she was.
But when he said, the money was there and the money was going to be good for our family, I just need you to understand, money, for all of you money people like myself, money's not always the answer. And is that trade-off always worth it? Because I'm here to tell you it's not. So he didn't take that job. He got a job here in town that the pay was substantially less. But luckily it was the busy time for his department, and so there was a lot of overtime. Well, then we get to the end of the year and there's no overtime, and we got a couple of like normal paychecks, and I was like, babe, we're going to have to go on the ramen diet if this doesn't.
Ooh.
And so and I think Jazz and I are the only ones who like ramen noodles, so that wouldn't go real well. So anyway, that January is when he got the job at the DC. And fun fact, also, y'all, again, this is why we're not sure we can keep this one to 30 minutes. The person who recommended Grant for the job was leaving that profession to pursue another career. And tell me if I have this wrong. The day Grant was walking in for orientation was this gentleman's last day, and he was walking out, basically high-fived him and was like, hey, man, good luck, and that's great. But he was there long enough to help Grant. Timing. Don't discount God's timing. I promise you it's perfect. It doesn't always make sense to us, but it's perfect. So Grant gets the job at the DC. He works the weekend shift, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, again, we had 2 teenagers in school, but because of this shift, he doesn't miss any events, whether they be in the middle of the day at school, whether they be in the evening time for school. Because of his schedule, he doesn't miss anything. So it was a huge blessing. Benefits are fantastic at his job, and so it was a huge blessing for us. So for 6 years, this man has worked the weekend shift. If any of you have been paying attention, you know what I do. My job's during the week, okay? So on my days off, he's at work, and obviously normally family events are on the weekends. So this guy was missing a bunch of stuff when it came to that, like special events or birthday parties. Now, don't get me wrong, he could take off and he could go to those things. And he could take off for Jasmine's dance competitions and whatnot. So basically for the last 6 years, we've had opposite schedules. But we make it work. And we're like, we're holding on to summer. We're holding on till summer. Because summers was amazing.
Summer's great.
Because we were together during the week. We could run and do stuff while everybody else was at work. And it was wonderful. Well, we've had some changes in our lives. And we got that last kid graduated. So she is graduated. No more school events. No more Friday nights at the football field watching her dance. And so, we enjoyed all that. It was amazing. But that season is over for us. And so we talked about it, and there's been some other changes in our lives. And so we're like, hey, why don't you look at making a change? So he put in a request at work, and y'all, I am so excited to say that this man worked his last weekend, and he is going to a weekday schedule. So for the first time in 6 years, on a regular basis, I get to hang out with my boyfriend on the weekends. We're so excited.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
So excited. But I just need you to see, so I just took you from like when our kids were tiny to this season of our life where we aren't shuffling kids, we're finished with that part. And God's hand was on Grant's job every time. There were times he got jobs, we didn't know how he got them, we didn't know where the recommendation came from, but he always had the right job with the right schedule for us and our family.
Now I'm going to take you, I should have started first because I'm going to take you back a little further. Maybe I should, I'm sorry, I didn't, sorry. I'm going to take you back a little further. I'm going to take you back almost 25 years ago. Actually, it's more than 25 years ago. I graduated high school in 96. I knew that I wouldn't be a good single person. I knew all my life I would not be good at being single. I don't like being by myself. I like being around people. I like in the home, I like somebody being there. That's me. That's who I am. I won't even go eat at a restaurant by myself. I won't do it. I won't. I don't like it. So I was watching people that were my age and I graduated. Man, they had girlfriends and they were getting serious. They were going to get married. And man, and all my life I was told, my mom told me to pray, Grant, pray. The perfect person is out there. You just got to pray. God will take care of the rest. Well, how many know that our timing is never the time it's never happens in our timing. It's always God's timing. But at this moment, I wanted my time to work. Hey, God, give me somebody. I don't even have a maybe. There's not even a maybe girlfriend. I mean, it's like I'm striking out. God, what's happening, right? I'm getting frustrated. God, you know I wouldn't be good single. I just wouldn't be. And she's laughing, but she knows the truth. She knows this is truth, right? And fast forward, not even. I graduated in 96. I got married in 98. I'm just saying it wasn't too long. And I told God my specific prayer. My mom can vouch. I said, God, I'm not leaving my home church to find somebody. You'll have to bring her to me. Lo and behold, the doors open to the church as First Son of God, in Oklahoma. The old building, which if you went to church there, you know what I'm talking about. The old building. This young lady walked in. Who would have thought God would have brought somebody from somewhere that's somebody that's been everywhere to my little town, and I went nowhere to bring us together. You know what? That's called timing. That's God's timing. God knew what I needed.
It's true.
Because when I'm weak and I don't know, she's on point. She's on point. It's like she doesn't miss a beat. Vice versa. When she's weak and when she needs help, I'm there.
Let's just be real. When I'm ready to go to prison over something, this guy calms me down.
But I want to make a really good disclaimer here. If you get in a hurry and try to go past God's timing, what you do will not succeed. Let me say it again. And I don't know what to tell you on this. I know that I know. If you go out of God's timing, you try to take care of it on your own, it will not prosper and succeed. You can take it to the bank, guys. I've tried a lot on my own. It never works out to my advantage. But I let God do it. Guys, I have a job better than I ever had in my whole life right now. With a great company, with great benefits, with great managers, great people to work with and for. If I'd have jumped ahead of God's time and took whatever job I wanted, I'd have been a job I didn't want to do, a place I didn't like, working with people I didn't want to work with, and been miserable every day. But I let God take over, even if it took some sacrifice. Hear me out. When you let God do his work, you're going to have to sacrifice something. Something is going to have to be sacrificed, right? And there's certain things in my life that I'm not willing to sacrifice. Seeing my baby girl dancing, I'm not sacrificing that. I won't be here today. Seeing my son shoot a basket, I won't be at work. I'll be here. And yes, that sounds like, well, you don't tell your bosses that at work. Well, actually, if I had him here, I would call him up and ask him what I told him on my job. I said, when this job gets in the way of my family, I'm going to find something else to do. And that's exactly what I told him. And that's not being arrogant, guys. But I know what God has called me to do. God's called me to be a husband. God called me to be a father, first and foremost. That a shadow of a doubt.
It's boundaries and priorities. Because your job is going to be there. Y'all have heard us say this 1,000 times. Your job is going to be there. Your family's not always going to be there.
Are you gonna talk about this place we're living at for timing?
Right now, where we
Not now.
currently live?
Yeah, we live right now. You
Yes,
gonna talk about that? Okay,
yes.
good. I don't
Okay,
want to spoil
so-
that because see, there's so many good stories about timing, and this is gonna bless somebody so much. This is gonna be maybe. We were talking about this week. This is making us get excited because God's timing is so perfect. We don't even understand it. We almost like we're walking into it. God, I didn't even see that there. Of course you didn't, Grant. You're having faith and walking.
Yeah.
You're holding my hand and walking in faith. You don't have to see it. Just believe that God's timing is better than yours. And guess what? He's got what you want. I promise you, he's concerned about what you need and what you want. Hands down, guys. Hands down. I could ramble about this subject for a long time.
So when he's talking about us moving, so we, our original plan when I went to school was to never teach in Oklahoma. Because Oklahoma does not pay teachers well. Oklahoma does not put a priority in education. All of my Oklahoma teacher friends, y'all are some of the hardest working people I know.
I've seen them.
Y'all are amazing, and I hope and pray that Oklahoma gets its life together and pays you guys for what you do. And I just thank you for being in the trenches, because y'all are absolutely hands down heroes. And again, some of the hardest working people I know.
For sure.
But so all that to say, my intent was never to teach in Oklahoma. I was going to graduate, I was going to get my degree, and then I was going to get my certification in Texas. Well, when I graduated, our kids were still very young. We had both grandmas within 15 minutes of our house, and we just did not feel at peace about moving. I said, Grant, it's not time. I know that was our plan, but I don't feel at peace about taking our kids away from all of our family. So we just let it ride. Now at this point, I never had any desire to get my master's, ever. I was like, I'm done. I've got my bachelor's. I'm teaching. I'm good. I get to teach math all day. This is perfect. Well, I go to a cohort thing for new teachers at my college, and I'm going to be real with y'all. I went because there was a stipend. And so they were like, I was barely on the end of the years where I could go. They're like, hey, 1st through 3rd year teachers, come do this. And by the way, we'll feed you and you get a stipend. I'm like, sign me up. You're going to give me free food and some money. So I go, and while I'm there, one of my professors is like, hey, Tina, I need to see you before you leave. Stop by my office. I'm like, okay, cool. And I mean, we always chatted, so I thought she just wants to catch up. No, she tells me there's a new master's program and she wants me to do it. Guys, if any of you know me, you know that I pick apart every decision I make. I weigh the pros, the cons. It takes me a while to make those decisions. This was one of the few decisions that I made the decision the next day and applied to the program. Got accepted, went through the program, completed the program, got certified in Oklahoma for elementary math specialist. And then that summer is when we decided to start looking in Texas. And y'all, you can believe me, you cannot believe me, it really doesn't matter to me. The timing was right. Now, when I went to get my master's, I had no intention of moving to Texas. None. People asked me why I was getting a degree in elementary math specialist, and I told them, one day, Oklahoma will get its life together, and they'll have math people that do the same thing as a reading specialist. And they're like, oh, sure. I don't know if that will ever happen, but it happens in Texas. So when we decided to start looking, y'all, it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks from deciding to look, to applying, to getting a job interview, to getting an offer. I'm not exaggerating.
That's exactly what happened.
And we moved. Within a month, we were in Texas. And craziness. But it was God's timing. You can't tell me that God didn't have his hand on that. When we moved states, within a month, that is God's timing 110%. Or were you wanting me to talk about the house?
I'm about to do it right now.
Oh, you go
No,
right
since
ahead.
You're not doing it. I'll do
Okay.
it right now.
It was in my notes. I
It's
just
okay.
wasn't there yet.
And I want to go somewhere at that place. When we moved here, okay, I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to give you all of God's perfect timing. We moved here, remember, she's the only one that's going to have a job. Remember, summer's here. Oklahoma, they give you all your money up front in the summertime. Okay? Bad mistake for people that spend money like crazy like we did, okay? And so they give it to us all in the summer, her. And we're moving. And guess it costs a lot to move states. It costs a lot. So, not exaggerating, we spent every dime we had to move here.
100%.
Okay? And we had to get a place, right? We had a place. And remember, we used to live in Oklahoma. Our rent in Oklahoma was a little bit less than it was here. I'm not going to sit here and lie like it wasn't. It was. And so we had to pay a little bit more with a rent place, but we did. We got it. We're living here. And I'm not going to say the name because it doesn't matter. But God let somebody in our lives, and because God can use anybody He wants, good or bad. He can use
100%.
anybody He wants to do whatever He wants.
Yep.
Fulfill His purpose, no matter who it is. Okay, so let God do it.
Yep.
You may say, God, you can't use them. Leave it alone. Yeah, I can. Leave him alone. And so He used this person, and this person blessed us with just the money that we needed, okay, to make it till she got her first paycheck. Okay, God, guys, you can't tell me God does not bless you if you follow what He asks you to do. He will bless you. His timing is brilliant. So, you know something about that? I'm gonna keep going.
I just want to say one thing about that real
Say something
quick.
about it, for real.
I feel like sometimes we get so off with, and I get he's talking about money right now, but everything else we were talking about had very little to do with
for
money.
sure.
I feel like sometimes we get so far off because we have this little box and we think that blessings only come in finances. And that's so off, so bad.
It's about that much,
Now,
probably.
100%. But this, when he was talking about the money, again, in Oklahoma, I got all my summer paychecks, and then it was my responsibility to budget till September.
For sure.
So everything they gave us there at the beginning of the summer, Grant's not exaggerating, we used every dime. We came down here, we found a place, we put down the deposits, we got the U-Haul, and we came down here and spent everything we had. And I can remember us walking through our new neighborhood and literally having conversations, and these were our conversations out loud. God, you brought us here. We're here now. So you're going to have to show up, or we're going to be real skinny by the time school starts. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. And there were nights, and this is where sacrifice comes in. There were nights we went home and we made a few boxes of mac and cheese, and that was our dinner. I don't say that to tell you to feel sorry for us or oh my gosh. I'm telling you because somebody out there is sitting here watching this, listening to this, eating a bowl of ramen noodles going, yeah, right, God's worried about me. Yeah, we've been there. We've been there.
We've been there.
But guess what? We made it, and so will you.
And so we lived in this rental property for what, 3 years? 4 years. We've been here 3 years.
We've been here 34.
So 4 years we lived in this rental property. Don't get me wrong, guys. This rental property, nice place to ever
Nicest
live in our
place we
life.
ever lived.
Ever lived. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, nice place. 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Great place. It's awesome, right? But you know, when you're our age, we're in our 40s, right? And we thought, man, God, we've seen, you know, a lot of people we know get homes. Right? You know, we want to be homeowners. It'd be great to be a homeowner. In our head, we knew it wasn't feasible. We talked about it. We could try, but there's no way we could get a house.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone's going to let us get a home. And,
But when we first got here, 7 years ago, God had put 2 people in our path and in our lives that we had relationship with. One was a realtor,
yeah,
and one was a mortgage loan officer.
for sure.
Way back when we first got here.
Before we thought about wanting to get a house, right? But
Well,
guess
who we called?
they became good friends of ours.
Yeah.
Right? And they knew that we wanted a home. It wasn't something that was secret. And one of our friends, the one that's the realtor, I think, I'm trying to get it right, she's the one that, when we told her we wanted a home to buy, she also looked at the east side of Cleveland, right? They're building homes over here, okay?
Yes. So anyway, sometimes you get excited and gonna put like all my personal address
I
online.
wasn't about to say an address.
Okay, well, and
The other side of Cleveland, okay, I'm sorry. Across the tracks where I was saying I'm from, which is that's not a lie, it's across the tracks. They've been here before. And they told us to look over here because they're building nice homes. And so, well, here's the thing. And let me hear us out. Hear us out. We are not the people that are too good for stuff. That's not us. We're never, we're too good for that, right? That is not us. I was raised in pretty much a low-income housing, and where my mom and my brother, we lived in that low-income home in Seminole. So we're not that kind of people, right? But we wanted to look on the other side of town. We thought that's where we wanted to live at, right? Well, in all this process of trying to find a house, God is starting to speak to me. I don't want to freak you out, but the Holy Spirit started speaking to me, downloading things in my spirit that I never told her about, because her mind was set that, she wanted to live over there, which is fine. I want to make her happy.
So let me just say something. Couples that are walking together and walking with God. We do this all the time. God will tell me something, and I'm like, oh, you're sure? And I don't say anything to him. And then God tells him something, he's like, I probably can't say anything to her yet. Then when we finally talk to each other,
he's saying
the same thing.
And we looked at a lot of houses, guys. A lot of houses.
And when we finally looked at the location that God told us both to look at.
Hold on. We
Oh,
looked at a lot of houses. A lot of houses need a lot of work. If you know me, I'm not the son of a carpenter. I'm not Jesus. I don't like working on things like that.
And if you know us and have ever been around us when we work together.
We can't do that. We can't work like that hand in hand together. You know what I'm saying? We just can't do it.
We're better than we used to be,
but we wanted to find a home we could
just move
into, right? That's not too hard to ask. And again, our friend said, hey, have you checked on that
Let me go show you these houses.
Let me go show you these. And so we gave in, right? And went over here.
No, we didn't give in. Here's what actually happened.
Yeah.
So we get in the car as we're leaving. She's like, Tina, please.
Oh, shoot.
We get in the car, and Grant looks at me. He said, hey, Tina, I need to tell you something. I literally looked at him, and I said, shut up. God already told me where we're supposed to live. Just follow her. He goes, oh, so you know. I said, yeah.
Yeah, so he told us the same thing. He told us that we were supposed to live on where we live now. I know y'all are saying, get at it. You know what?
You don't have to believe us.
You don't have to believe us, okay? He told us both the same thing. And when we came by this house, the first week that was this one, right? And we walked in, looked, we already counted off. There's no way we can live here.
Yeah.
It's too nice for home.
Yeah.
Our daughter fell in love immediately with the home, okay? Like, oh, please, let's. But we knew there's no way, God. It's beautiful, but can we look at something else? And we did. We went somewhere else and looked at another street with a house a lot smaller, okay? And it was more our style, more our alley, right? And so we're like, let's do this one. Let's try this house, right?
And we actually
let her tell you this.
We were actually going to put an offer in on that house. Luckily, it was the weekend, and our realtor was getting ready. Like, so the evening, I was like, okay, yeah, put an offer in on this house, and I literally woke up in a panic the next morning. I think it was a Saturday morning. I wake up in a panic, and I'm like, we will outgrow that house in a minute.
Yeah.
And I wake up, there was no storage, no closets, obviously there were closets, not what I have here. I might have a issue with clothes, and someone doesn't even use a closet in our room because I use both of them. Anyway, so I wake up in a panic, and I call her, and I was like, we changed our mind. Go back to the original house. And she goes, perfect. I was just getting ready to send something over. I'll switch it. And y'all, again, once we submitted to what God was wanting us to do, and we said, this is where we go. We'll go. Okay.
We're laying in bed. We're sitting in bed. It was at night, right? PM. It was
okay,
PM.
Your timing's off. That was way before. That was before we started looking.
Yeah, I wish I'd said that before.
But you didn't.
It's way cooler, though. That one's way cooler anyway.
He's talking about when we got the notification we were approved. And our lender, we were sitting in bed. It was in the evening time. We're watching TV. And our lender texted us and said, hey, you're approved for X amount of dollars. Go start shopping.
But I'm talking about time. Here's the story of time I want to leave you with on this thing. It really wasn't our time to get a home. We shouldn't have been able to get a home.
No.
But when God wants you to do something and you surrender to what he wants, he can make anything happen that he wants to make happen.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
See how much we get in the way and screw it up? Get out of the way. If God wants you to be somewhere, You say, God, if that's where you want me, you got to make it happen because I can't do it.
And it's not always going to make sense. It didn't make sense
No.
for us because we had been told you have to have X amount of dollars saved and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, well, we don't
Can't
have
do
that.
It. Won't happen.
And come to find out, there were grants out there for educators, and there was all these programs. And so here we are, homeowners, finally, and in a home that we never thought. Like, y'all, literally, I still drive up to my house. And some of you live in homes way nicer, way bigger than ours. And if you drove by our house, you're like, you're excited about that? Yes, we are. So we're 3 years this summer into this house. And literally, we both still pull up in the driveway.
Every time.
And say, wow.
That's our
This
house?
is where we get to live.
No, for real. It's serious.
Because you're talking to two kids who grew up being raised by single moms on very limited budgets. Kids like that don't grow up to live in a nice home, but we did, and we fully know that it's because of the blessings of God.
Oh,
it's nothing we did. We just stepped.
Now I know we're over 30 minutes, but I'm not done. I'm not done yet. So we're talking all this about timing, and I just want to go one more step further about timing. If you're following God's timing, He's going to put people in your path that you're going to have to talk to, that you're going to need to talk to, that you're going to have conversations with, right? Maybe you don't want to. Guess what? When people walk in your path and you have no idea why, you better take the time and invest and figure out why they're in your path. I can name countless people. I can call them by name because you probably know. If you live in Cleveland, you know them. I got one of my coolest guys I've ever met in my life. He works here in Cleveland. I'm not going to say where he works. The coolest guys I've ever met. I went here to eat one day. Man, a rock star. This dude is amazing, right? I took time, became friends, and I text him every now and then. What's up, buddy? You doing okay? You build things. You build relationships. We were yesterday, I'm not going to say it again, we were somewhere, and if you know her, she's like a social butterfly. Like, she just fly around and talk to everybody. But that's her grandfather's fault. Thank you.
This is true.
Thank you, Daddy Bill. I appreciate that. If you listen up there, he did it too, right? He can go anywhere without talking to somebody.
No.
That's her.
Somebody. You talk to everybody.
And so she took time yesterday to talk to a young man. Okay? But he needed that at that moment. That was God's timing. I told him when we left, I said, this is what ministry's about. You want to talk about ministry? What you did is what we should be doing. Taking time out and talking to people in there where they needed at. He needed help.
Yeah.
So she took time and explained things and talked to him, and he felt better. Right? Yeah. Don't discount when people come into your path.
Yeah.
Maybe God has them there for a reason, right?
And the cool thing is, and I'll try to get through this, God's timing is perfect, even during sorrow and tragedy.
For sure.
We just came back from Oklahoma from a funeral of a very dear friend.
For sure.
Now, he's been ill for a while, and we suspected, because I feel like some people, if they're sick, they kind of know when they're nearing the end. And I kind of suspected that he was just holding on until his daughter graduated. It was really cool because he was in our home for Jazz's graduation party, and then you fast forward, we were in his home for his daughter's graduation party, and then the next week he's gone, and we're just like, wow. Well, you fast forward to the funeral service, beautiful service. But the pastor said that about a year ago he had a scare, and he told the pastor, I need you to pray with me because I have a goal to see her graduate. God's timing is perfect. Now, to his wife and his daughter, are they happy with that timing right now? 100% no. But his wife will also tell you that there were blessings in the way that everything happened. And she's holding on to those blessings. It's no different than when I lost my dad. My dad became very fearful of COVID in March. And so he kept talking about it. He's like, Tina, if me or my wife get this, it's not going to be good for us. And we may not make it, but you're young, you'll be okay. Y'all, I immediately started praying that if something happened to my dad where I needed to take care of him, and I know this sounds silly to some of you, I said, if something happens to my daddy and I need to be with him and take care of him, I need it to be in the summer so I'm not forced to feel like I'm choosing between my job and my father. Because obviously I would choose my father, but you don't want to be in that predicament.
No, you don't want to be in that.
Y'all, my daddy got sick in July. I didn't have to worry about anything else except my
Being by
dad.
his side.
I didn't have to worry about anything. So between all of the time that he was in the hospital, to his passing, to his memorial service, I want to say within a week, school started back up. But there were things that God orchestrated
Sure there were.
during that time.
Oh.
And so I know we've been talking about some happy times, but also God's timing is perfect in the times that are like, I don't really feel like this is that wonderful. But if you look, and it may be afterwards, you may look back and you can see, wow, God did this so that this would happen. He put this person here so I would have someone to go to with this. So whether you're in a happy time right now or a not so happy time, whether you feel God right there beside you just as sure as Grant is beside me, or whether he feels distant, I promise you, he is working things together for your good.
Wow, heard that this week already. One more story, and we gotta go. I know we've been a long time today. But speaking of timing, something recently in my life that happened timing-wise, our lives, I guess. I don't think I've shared it much on this podcast. If I have, if you know the story of me and my dad, if you know this story, you've heard it. If not, I'm not going to go into detail about it. But me and my dad's relationship, probably just like 5 years ago, wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that great? Honestly, to be honest, I'll just be honest. If something happened to him 5 years ago, I really wouldn't have cared. And I know it sounds really harsh. I know it sounds bad. I said, how dare you? But I'm just being honest, okay? Well, I got checked a lot. God was checking me a lot. The Holy Spirit was checking me a lot. Telling me, Grant, I understand you've been hurt. I get it. You've been hurt. You've been hurt bad. But he said, this is after Tina had a situation with her dad, okay? And she was telling me about she has no regrets.
No.
And I'm like, oh my God, that. And I'm like, I would have.
Yeah.
If my dad would have died, I would have had regrets. I would have felt horrible. I would have felt, I can't describe it, right? But when she was talking about it, she looked so peaceful. She felt so, she was speaking to me. I need her to say that. And so when she said that, when I saw her be at such peace with no regrets, I said, I got to figure something out, right? Fast forward, I go visit my dad probably, it's been a year ago.
It was last summer.
Last summer I went to visit my dad. Lives in Arkansas, right? By himself. And for me, that was a huge step. Huge. I drove me and Tina went down there. I visited my dad. I told him that I was sorry. He told me he was sorry. We had a great conversation. But I never wanted to go like it was. I want to grow this. Guess what? He's my only dad I have. He's the only dad that I ever have in my life. And right now, my dad texts me every day. He texts me every day. Even if I don't text, he still texts every day, right? What I'm saying is, God knows exactly what he's doing in your life.
It's true.
And I hope I bring some encouragement. We hope we bring some encouragement. We don't know where you're at. We don't know what you're dealing with. We don't know any of your struggles. What we want to tell you is, if you put God in front of that and let God walk it. Remember, he's supposed to be leading us. That's what the Bible says. He's leading and guiding us. If we quit trying to lead and let him lead and let him work his timing out and just walk in it, guys. All you have to, I know you're saying, Grant, it sounds so tough. It is tough. But walk in it. Walk in his timing. If a door's been shut, guess what I've been taught? There's a better door opening later.
That's true. You
got to be ready for it. When God opens it, walk through it. Walmart was that door for me.
Yeah.
God opened it wide open. Grant, you wanted a career? I'm giving you one right now. With the biggest company in the world, right? Walmart. And so I did it. It's been the best thing ever for me and my family. I get to change schedules. I get to spend time with my family on the weekends. This is God's timing, guys.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing. Embrace that. Get out of the way. You're no more stubborn than we are. I promise. You're
no.
not. Get out of the way. Let him do what he does, and you will see things you've never seen before if you let him do his work and let his timing work.
So true.
I know we've been a long time, guys. Thanks for being patient, listening to us.
And thanks for being patient with the cars driving by.
Yeah.
We just wanted to sit outside.
It's nice
but,
outside tonight.
The
So
plane,
anyway.
the train. Literally, it's been planes, trains, and automobiles.
It's true.
I know
No
some
lie.
of you young ones have no idea what that was about, but anyway,
She
it's
got it.
fine. It's all good.
She got us.
So,
Anyway, guys, we hope you have a great evening. And we say it every time, but the people that listen, we love you guys. And keep listening. Comment. Share it. I mean, we do this because we feel we've lived a little bit of life, and we just feel like giving back a little bit of what God has taught us, and we've learned, and maybe somebody's there and can learn and get something from it. That's all we're doing it for.
hopefully we can
That's
help
it.
other people along the way.
That's the whole point. That's the point of it all.
Yep.
The point of living life.
Yep.
Helping people that aren't there yet. Help them out. So, hey guys, we hope you have a great weekend. I know tomorrow's Friday, but then it'll be the weekend. Hey, we love you guys, and we will see y'all next time.
All right, y'all have a good night. Love you.
Bye-bye.